What is up, Eastern Oregon? This is Dodgy with EOAlive Sports, and today I am joined by state champion. You got it finally. EOU grad. He played basketball up there. He's the head coach for Baker High School, Jebron Jones. Jabron, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. I haven't had you on in a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, but like I said, I just appreciate you and your time and your crew and just covering Eastern Oregon sports, man. It's real cool.
I try. I mean, it's kind of hard because it's just me, like branching out outside of LeGrand and EOU, but I do try to include Baker in some of my stuff as much as possible. And I definitely follow you as an EOU grad. And man, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Cascade game first, because that game going in, your only loss of the year. On the road after a tough road trip, you go to Cascade and you lose by, I think, 8 points at Cascade, 59-51.
Yep, it was 8.
And then you turn around in the semis and just absolutely control that game. Talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, man, we lost the Cascade off a long road trip. And so I think the guys had that game in the back of their mind once we got past a tough Philomath team. That first game was tough, and so people don't give Philomath enough credit. They played hard. They took a lot out of us. And then going into Cascade, I knew that we had a lot of guys who can play. And so we used our bench to our advantage. We knew Cascade relied heavily on 4 guys, and those 4 guys are good. I just took the gamble that our bench could outlast those 4, and it proved to be true. We hit a lot of shots early. I think we broke their spirit in the first half just because they made runs, but we matched their runs even more. And I think we're up 17, 18, 19 at half. And it was tough for Cascade to come back in the third quarter and gallop enough effort and energy to overcome that halftime deficit.
So then we turn around Saturday. You got Junction City for the state championship. What do you tell the guys before that game?
I told them to play harder than they did the night before. I told them, no, real talk. I said that the toughest team is going to win. The hardest working team is going to win. I told them they thought they worked hard against Cascade. Then they increased that effort because there's one game left for one championship, for one title, and they had an opportunity to do it, and they did. They bought in. They worked hard. They were tougher than Junction City, and we happened to score more points that night.
Yeah. So this is the last year that your boys will get to play together on the high school level, right? No, or do they have one more year together? Your sons.
My personal kids, they have one more year.
They do. Okay. So
Yep.
So this group, you're going to graduate what? 2 seniors or 3?
5. Got 5 seniors.
5 seniors. Okay. So you're losing a substantial part of your team, essentially.
Oh, for sure. No, those 5 seniors provided stability, provided mental, physical toughness, provided accountability. They provided just a steady presence for our younger guys to lead on and to there's going to be, 5 tough holes to fill.
Yeah.
Not sure if we're going to keep, add on 5 more dudes for next year. That's yet to be determined, but those 5 seniors are going to leave a big void for sure.
What about let's go back to the state championship game. What was the feeling when that clock hits 0 and Jebron Jones and Baker finally wins their first state championship?
Man, that is surreal. It's still surreal. The bus ride home was surreal. Today is surreal. I took today off work because I knew I couldn't function in the best of my ability at work. But once the final buzzer hit, I knew that everything the young men did all season long paid off. At no point in the game did I think the game was over with, even though we're up, I think 23 in the 4th or 3rd or something like that. I just knew we had to fight to the final buzzer. And once that buzzer hit, a bunch of dudes, they were crying. They were real emotional. Just knowing the hard work they put in finally went noticed.
So my biggest question about this season, was there like a fear in the back of your mind coming into playoff time after the regular season where, I mean, I don't feel like you guys had a lot of competition during the regular season, to be honest. There was a few games where it was, close, but you blew a lot of teams out. That's got to be in the back of your mind going into the state playoffs, right?
Yeah, no, we had great competition throughout the year. That's the thing that people don't understand. The teams we played weren't a bunch of chumps, and so the boys had to fight for every single game. And the scores, we win a game by 50, 60, 70. They think it's easy, but it's not. Maintaining the intensity, maintaining the effort is hard. And so you don't win a game by 60 by accident, just by the other team bowing down. And so I wasn't fearful that the boys were going to fold under the lights once we got to state. Coming off 2 years of going 2 and out was a motivation in itself for the young men. They didn't want to have that repeat feeling for the 3rd time in a row.
At what point during this season did you realize that you guys were real contenders?
After we lost to Cascade. Because that week we played at home against Pendleton. We beat them. We went on the road to play Cascade Christian.
A tough Cascade Christian team.
Yeah, for sure. They ended up winning the 3A state chip.
Yeah.
We beat them in Summit, at Summit. And then we went to Salem and played Cascade, and we lost by 8. So that's very rare to play 3 games in 3 different locations and three back-to-back nights. And so we lost Cascade by 8. And there's a lot of stuff that we did not do mentally in that game that I know that's easily fixable. And so we fixed it. And after that game, I knew the guys would be refocused. They were. We had a great couple of weeks of practice, and the results showed this last weekend.
It's almost better to have 1 loss going in rather than be undefeated, I think. Just because, if you're undefeated, you have that target on you. You got all that pressure. If you just lose once, you can kind of relieve some of that pressure. So it might have been the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, for sure. I tell a lot of people you learn more by losing than you do by winning. And so a lot of things that we had to fix, just playing basketball wise, mentally wise, physically wise. And I think we fixed it for the most part.
What was the first thing you guys did as a team after winning the state championship?
A lot of tears were shed. A lot of emotions, finally came out. We went to dinner at a place called Prime Time Rib in Forest Grove, Cornelius. We had a great team dinner. A lot of parents, fans came out and supported us, had dinner with us. We had a business here in town, RD Mac, help with the bill, which is extremely appreciated. So we had a great celebration. The boys stayed up, who knows how long. I was in bed as soon as we got back to the house. But we got on a bus ride home Sunday, and we had a great ceremony, a lot of cars supporting us along the route from the freeway back to the school in the rain. And so we got a great group of people show up to the high school to, help us off the bus. And it was just a cool environment overall, man.
When I was watching the state championship game, I was thinking to myself, man, the Baker fans are loud. I'm surprised there's that many people there. And then I was like, no, actually, I'm not really surprised that there's that many people that made the trip over there to follow this team because of what you created there in Baker.
No, the fan support has been tremendous, man. There was, I know for a fact, I'm not going to say their name, but as soon as we lost last year, a couple of days after we lost last year at the state tournament, they booked the house for this upcoming year, which just happened this last weekend. So people came out in droves. People came over just for the Saturday game. Some families stayed all 3 days to watch all 3 games. And just looking in the stands, after the game, just seeing the amount of support the kids had, that we had, and people coming up to the kids, giving them hugs after the game. And I told the kids, you guys are blessed to be in a supportive community.
Yeah, absolutely. So throughout this year, I want to kind of pick your mind a little bit. give me the one thing that somebody's told you that has really resonated, like as a coach or, as a mentor. Like you obviously have conversations with people that are your mentors, and give me the one thing that somebody told you that kind of resonated this year for you.
I think just staying patient and trusting the process. Because coming off 2 years in a row of not winning any games at the state tournament, you want to get back there right away. But there's steps that are involved in that process. Just developing the physical body of the player, the mental aspect of the game as well. And so we did a lot of things this year to just develop the overall dude, because basketball is more than just putting a ball in the hoop. It's mental. There's a lot of mental stuff that goes on, just dealing with adversity. And we put the kids in adverse situations in practice to deal with stuff, because that's what life brings about, just a whole bunch of stuff, man.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about the Ray Lewis jersey real fast. I was texting with my boy Johnny over in Boise, Johnny Ballgame, and I was like, he wore an NFL jersey for a state championship game. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Why?
Oh man, long story short, I had a chance to, along with Roland Hobson, a chance to coach these kids from like third and fourth grade, a good chunk of them. And Ray Lewis jersey was worn at an early age, just in random, travel ball tournaments. And the kids thought it was cool. My parents didn't think it was so cool, but I just said, I'm doing it for the kids. And, wearing it in the state chip against JC, this was the last time that, a good majority of these kids could be playing together. I figured, why not, bring a smile to their faces, bring a little bit of looseness to the situation. And, my parents flew into the game. They still didn't approve of the jersey, but I said, I ain't doing it for me. I'm doing it for the kids. So
yeah, that's all that matters. I mean, basketball purists would be like, he should have been in a shirt, but who cares, really? I mean, if it's for the kids, who really cares, right?
That's real.
Last question, and I'll get you out of here. What's next?
What's next, man? Just getting back in the gym. Just actually on the bus ride home, we were talking about personnel for next year already, because that's the next thing, is trying to figure out what next year is going to look like. Like I said, we lost 5 dudes who played a big part in what happened this year, and just trying to replace, the roster spots, who can do what. And so I just challenge the young men, as soon as we get off the bus, to be great leaders, no matter what spring sport they play. Be great leaders in and out of the classroom, and show the younger dudes what it takes to get to the level you guys got to this year. And so I'm hoping for next year the younger guys see what the older guys did and want to be a part of that. And so I hope they're in the gym as much as possible. Hope they're lifting, hope they're running, hope they're hooping. But most importantly, I'm hoping they're taking care of their grades. And so what's next is just try to keep the dudes hungry. Our motto this year was to stay humble, stay hungry, and not be satisfied with winning a bunch of games this year, and just keeping that hunger, keeping that motivation to see what can happen next year.
I love it. Eastern Oregon, he's Baker boys basketball state champion head coach, Jebron Jones. I'm Dazzy. Jebron, I appreciate you.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate you. And like I said, everything you do for the community, man. It's cool.